Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're filming this video just a few days before the Christmas holiday. We found out we were going to have a couple of post-Christmas plans, and that was going to screw up our schedule a little bit until we realized we had to do one more video where we combined a few bowl games into one to make sure we could get through every bowl game as promised. So today we're bringing you 4 more bowl game predictions in one video, and then from here on out it will be all individual videos as promised. Still predicting every game, but had to do one last bowl set. But let's get into it. Let's dive into it. Before we get there, though, please continue to like, comment, subscribe. Welcome to the channel. We're so glad you could join us today. And make sure to check out our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of those expert picks, home of that holiday special where we're giving you all of our college football bowl game spread picks, all of our NFL picks for the rest of the year. We've never hit under 60% in our postseason picks. We're going to do the same again this year. So if you want to win big with us, if you want to become a member of our GE Nation, the link for that is down in the description below, and we certainly would love to have you. So let's dive into this. Let's dive into the 4 bowl games we're talking about. We're going to start in the Military Bowl. We're going to start over in the Military Bowl between East Carolina and NC State. This is a fun, intriguing matchup to me. Really, really interesting game. Maybe a mini rivalry, if you want to call it that, between the Pirates and the Wolfpack. And it's really an interesting direction these two programs are going right now. You look at ECU, had a horrendous 2023 season. Things weren't looking that much better in 2024. They fire their head coach in Mike Houston, promote Blake Harrell to the permanent head coach, did very well as an interim, led them to that 7-5 record. They fired Houston in October. They rallied around Harrell. Here they are now. Regardless of what happens in the Military Bowl, they will finish with a winning record and a upward trajectory heading into the 2025 season. North Carolina State, meanwhile, they had a very disappointing year. 6-6 in a year where many thought they could flirt with the college football playoff, could flirt with an ACC title. Many thought this would be the best team they'd had in years under Dave Doeren, and they just got hit with injury after injury after injury and just barely hit 500. It was really, really disappointing and really just bad luck, honestly, for the Wolfpack. So you look at this game and you say ECU's fired up. They're playing for their guy, their new head coach, looking to get an 8th win on the year and tons of momentum in the next year. And you look at NC State and you go, where's the motivation? They're banged up. It's a disappointing year. It's not the best bowl game in the world. What do we have to play for? That's kind of the interesting direction we're going here. So from a motivation standpoint, East Carolina absolutely owns the edge. But the Pirates will be without 2 of their top 3 wide receivers entering this game. NC State will be without their defensive coordinator, Tony Gibson, who took the Marshall head coaching job, and they'll be without a handful of others who have either opted out or hit the transfer portal, including their star wide receiver, Casey Concepcion. So this is an interesting game. I like ECU, though. I think the Pirates win this game. They're 26th overall in total offense. They're 18th in the country in passing offense. Switching quarterbacks to Catton-Hauser was a fantastic move. They're averaging over 273 passing yards per game. NC State's secondary is atrocious. They're giving up over 250 passing yards per game, 106 in the nation against the pass. Their offense is just mediocre. You factor in an ECU defense that isn't great, will be fired up for this game. I think they get enough stops. I think it's relatively high scoring, but they win this game. ECU clinching an 8-win season with the mini upset over NC State as they are left searching for answers in what will be a very interesting 2025 for the Wolfpack. Moving on to the Music City Bowl. Music City Bowl, Iowa and number 19, Missouri. This is going to be an ugly game in Nashville. 2 teams that maybe you could call this a disappointing season for both. Iowa, pretty much par for the course, right? Another 8-9 win season, went 8-4. Pretty typical for a Kirk Ferentz-led team. 8-9 win season, go to a decent bowl game. That's what you expect from Iowa football. And they improved drastically, especially offensively, averaging 28 points per game, despite having the 114th ranked offense in the entire country. Not very good, but the points per game skyrocketed. For Missouri, they're 9-3. They're number 19 in the country, but the Tigers aren't nearly as good as their record shows, right? They got blown out by Texas A&M by 31, blown out by Alabama 34-0. Did lose to South Carolina only by 4, one of the wildest games of the season. Those were their 3 losses, but they did have 5 wins by 1 possession. They barely beat Vanderbilt. They barely beat Arkansas. They barely beat Auburn. Just a lot of games against some mediocre to below average opponents that Missouri did beat, but took some either massive comebacks, some late game heroics, things like that to pull it off. So in a year where Missouri thought they could flirt with the college football playoff, they fell quite short, going just 9-3. But this is going to be, I think, a low-scoring game. Both these defenses are phenomenal. The Tigers have the 20th ranked defense, 319.3 yards per game is all they're giving up. Iowa, as we know, always has a very strong defense. The Hawkeyes have the 15th ranked defense, giving up just 313.7 yards per game. But here's the problem. Missouri doesn't have nearly as many major opt-outs as Iowa does. The Tigers will be without Luther Burden at wide receiver. At least the filming of this video, we're not expecting many big opt-outs. They will be without Luther Burden. Iowa, on the other hand, is going to be without their star running back Caleb Johnson, who rushed over 1,500 yards this year. They're going to be without their star cornerback and Jamari Harris. Brendan Sullivan is expected to return at quarterback for the Hawkeyes, but that's not saying too much. I mean, regardless of who starts at quarterback for Iowa, they're not playing that great of ball. Missouri, they've got the better quarterback in Brady Cook. They've got the better running back depth, more so than Iowa. They know they can play defense. They can stop this Iowa offense, which was pretty much non-existent. Missouri, I think, owns the edge in just about every single category in this game. I never know what you're going to get out of Iowa in the postseason. Never truly know, especially with that defense. But I think the Tigers have just enough to take them down. It'll be low scoring. It'll be ugly. Some would say even boring. But Missouri is going to win this game and clinch another double-digit win season under Eli Drinkwitz. Over to the Sun Bowl. The Sun Bowl, for me, is always one of my favorite bowls of the postseason. I don't know why. I love the atmosphere. Typically, it's a pretty solid, underrated matchup. Always looking forward to it each and every year. And this year, no exception. Louisville at 8-4, taking on Washington at 6-6. Last year's national runner-up coming in at 6-6, just barely making a bowl game in Jed Fish's first year with the program. And again, that's no shot at Washington. Getting to the postseason is better than I thought they'd do, especially considering how much they lost. So a lot of credit to getting them to this point. Here's the thing, though. Louisville's in trouble coming into this game. The Cardinals are very much depleted on both sides of the ball. They're going to be without their quarterback, Tyler Shuck. They're going to be without their number one wide receiver and 1,000-yard wide receiver in Ja'Cory Brooks. They're going to be without their number 3 wide receiver in Amari Higgins-Bruce. They're going to be without their defensive end and sack leader, Ashton Gillett, and their cornerback, Quincy Riley, are all opting out of this game. So you're down 2 major starters on offense, 2 major starters on defense. It's not looking good for the Cardinals there. Their quarterback, Harrison Bailey, who is kind of been a journeyman throughout his career, had some playing time at Tennessee, is going to be starting in this game, but he only has 8 pass attempts on the year. This is going to be a game where you either Bailey balls out or they try to lean more heavily on their running back, Isaac Brown, who rushed for over 1,000 yards this season. Here's the thing, though. Washington, on the other hand, despite being 6-6, is a little bit better than people realize. They've had some very close losses early on in the year. Probably could have been a 7 or 8 win team instead of just a fringe bowl team. They've got the number 5 ranked passing defense in the country. So Harrison Bailey, who's kind of coming into this game cold, is going up against a pretty tough defense into this game. Also include, this will be Steve Belichick's last game as defensive coordinator for the Huskies. So maybe some extra motivation for him and his players as they prepare to enter this game, as Belichick prepares to move to coach with his dad at North Carolina. And then you got a Washington team that on top of that is practically at full strength. Louisville's got all these opt-outs, all these transfers. Washington really isn't having that, at least at the time of this videos. They're going to start Damon Williams at quarterback instead of Will Rogers. That's an interesting move by Jed Fish, but might be a smart move. Williams has played very well this year. 570 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Has also rushed for over 230 yards. That dual threat capability of his is going to be very difficult for this Louisville defense to stop. Jonah Coleman also announced his intentions to return to the team next year. Rushed for over 1,000 yards this season. Is going to play a major role in this bowl game against Louisville. Honestly, this is a game where I expect Washington's passing game to step up a little bit with a newfound quarterback, exploit a Louisville secondary that's given up over 220 passing yards per game, and as long as Washington can just contain the run, the Huskies are giving up over 158 rushing yards per game. If they can contain the run and contain Isaac Brown, I think they win this game. The record discrepancy may make you want to go with Louisville, but when you look at it a little bit closer, I like the Huskies of Washington to pull off the minor upset in what should be a very interesting Sun Bowl. And then finally, the Gator Bowl. This one to me is a no-brainer. 9-3 Duke, 9-3 Ole Miss, 14th ranked Ole Miss, I should add. And credit to Manny Diaz and Duke. I thought they would be one of the worst, if not the worst team in the ACC this year. So getting to 9-3 is remarkable. Unbelievable job by Manny Diaz and his staff. Unbelievable job of the Blue Devils. But this Duke team, despite being 9-3, maybe is not as good as their record shows. They're 9-3, but they have 6 wins by 1 possession. A couple of them against some mediocre to below average teams, like a win over UConn, who, won 8 games, but only beat them by 5. Duke is 9-3 with a lot of very close wins. Very well could have been a 6, 7, or maybe not even a bowl team at all if the ball bounces just a couple different ways. They're now going to be without their star quarterback Malik Murphy, who's transferring over to Auburn, meaning Henry Balin IV is going to be the starting quarterback. He's had experience before, mostly last year. This year, he's only had one pass attempt, and there's a chance you could see more opt-outs for Duke over these next couple of weeks. Again, we're still a ways out from this game as it's not being played until January. Ole Miss, on the other hand, same could go for them. You could see a couple opt-outs for the Rebels over these next few weeks, but we do know that Jackson Dart, their star quarterback who's thrown for over 3,800 yards, is going to play, and that's all you need. Ole Miss automatically owns the massive edge at quarterback, the most important position out there on the field. You've got the number 2 offense in the nation for the Rebels facing off against the Duke offense that's only ranked 107th in total offense. Ole Miss's defense is 16th in the nation. Duke's not bad at 44th, but I do question if they'll be able to slow down Ole Miss. And then even if they do, can the Blue Devils put points on the board? Can their offense with a backup quarterback put points on the board? They were struggling mightily with Murphy at under center. I don't think they're going to all of a sudden find themselves under Henry Balin IV. The only way Duke wins this game is if they force a lot of turnovers off of Ole Miss. And here's the thing, even if they do that, the offense has to find a way to get it in the end zone. Remember, earlier in the year, Duke had 6 turnovers, forced 6 turnovers against SMU. Couldn't convert on any of them. Still lost to the Mustangs 28-27. Won the turnover battle 6-0 and still lost because their offense couldn't convert. I don't expect any of that's going to happen now against Ole Miss. The Rebels win big in the Gator Bowl over Duke. They clinch another double-digit win season under Lane Kiffin. Maybe a disappointing finish to the year, sure, but still another 10-win season and a bowl victory. Duke finishes 9-4, and despite the disappointing loss, an unbelievable job by Manny Diaz, and the future looking very bright for the program. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. That's our final bowl set. Plenty of more individual videos coming your way over these next couple of days, over the next couple of weeks. Again, we just had to change our schedule up a little bit to ensure that we got through every single game, so we appreciate you and your understanding for that. But bowl season about to get back into full force. Of course, after Christmas, that's when all the games start getting played. We're going to get some of the bigger games. We're going to have the quarterfinals for the playoffs. Tons of more analysis and videos coming your way over these next few weeks, so do not miss out. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. Check out everything down in the description below. Go sign up for that holiday special over on thegridironexpert.com. We want you to become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.